Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Oshana Films. I have been wanting to film this video for such a long time, and then it just kind of got lost in the way. And then also then with this whole pandemic going on, I kind of felt like, is this really going to be helpful? But at the same time, I just moved, so I felt like this video was very necessary. So as you can tell by the title, today we're going to talk about apartment hunting. I'm going to be giving you some tips on how to hunt for your apartment. I know some people may think like it's really not that hard, but it is. There are a few things that you really should be doing before you step foot on a property that you think you may want to live on. Got my little list, but first of all, go ahead and like this video because I know you're gonna like it. Like the video, subscribe, and then later on you're gonna be commenting because you're gonna have more questions, or you're gonna have some tips for the rest of the people that are viewing this video. Maybe I missed something, you know? So yeah, go ahead and do that. So let's get into this video. Okay. So the very first thing I think that people should really focus on when they're thinking about moving is the location. Think about where exactly you want to live. Like, for me, like I said, I live in Georgia. Do I want to live in a city? Do I want to live on the outskirts? Do I want to live so far away from Atlanta that I'm basically in another state? You know, you just got to think about where you want to live. Do you want to live in like a town kind of area, or do you want the fast life? You may not necessarily want to live in Atlanta, but you may want to live in a city-like place. Just think about that. Then think about pricing. So if you are living in the city, or if you want to live in the city, you have to think about the pricing. It's definitely going to be higher in the city, especially Atlanta, or especially, you know, the biggest city in your state. So you definitely want to think about that. So when you're thinking about pricing as well, think about all the bills that you're going to have to pay. Before I move, I think about all the bills that I'm going to have to pay. So rent, water, is the place strictly electric, or does it include gas? So you have to think about electricity and gas. Thinking about your travel time, because, you know, if you chose a location that's far away from your family or your friends or your school or your job, you have to think about the gas that you have to put into your car, or the money you're going to pay if you take the bus, you know, or the train. You have to think about that as well. So you have to think about the pricing of everything, including groceries. I include groceries in my bill because you're going to eat every month, okay? And then also for those that like to eat out, like, I have my fair share of eating out too often, and so I'm, you know, working on that, getting back into the meal prepping situation. So yeah, just think about all the stuff that you pay for every single month before you move, because it ain't cheap, okay? So yeah, so definitely think about all your bills, okay? All of your bills, please do, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you get there and you can't afford where you're living because you really only considered maybe your rent and a few utilities. You gotta think about everything you spend monthly. Okay. Then think about what you want in your apartment. So do you like a certain kind of cabinets? Do you like a certain kind of countertop? A certain size bedroom, closet, all that good stuff? For me personally, I really like a dark kitchen. I like dark cabinets and light countertops, and I really want to make sure I have enough space in my bedroom and my closet, because although I say I don't have a lot of clothes, I have a lot of clothes, and so I really need a really big closet. And I now realize I also love a big kitchen. So think about all of the things that you would want, all of the features that you would want in your apartment, and then think about what you would like for your apartment community to have. Do you need it to have a pool? Do you want tennis courts? Do you want a basketball court? I don't know if I really see any basketball courts in apartments, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Any kind of amenities that you may want in your apartment community, think about that as well. Then you may have to go back to the pricing and possibly location section to really think about, can you get that with that price? Can you get that with that location? So then, say you have been searching for your apartments. What I do is I go to apartments.com, I put in the location I want to live, and I put the maximum price I want to pay for rent, because you can't include the utilities on the apartment.com. But just think about the price that you want to spend on your rent, and then your location, and then search from there. And then I like to search from low to high, like when I shop. And then look at the apartments that they show you, but also have up another browser because I need to look at the reviews, which is my next thing. Look at the reviews, okay? Don't just see something that they show you on apartments.com or apartment ratings or whatever those other apartment searching sites are. Look at the reviews on Google. I mean, you can look at the reviews on the specific sites like apartments.com and all that, but I choose the ones on Google because these people have searched the apartment and they want everyone to see it basically, because not everyone is going to go to apartments.com, but they don't go to Google first to find the apartment. So it's like, when you, yes, you might search it on, you know, apartments.com, but when you're going to look for the apartments that you see on apartments.com, you're going to Google it, and or to look at the website and all that, you're gonna have to go to Google first. That's my main thing. You're gonna have to go to Google first. So the people that spent their time to put those comments on Google, read those reviews, because that will really give you some insight on the apartment. Now, what I do is I search from the newest reviews to the oldest, because the old reviews may not be true anymore. Sometimes they switch companies, they switch people in the office and things like that, and so some of the things that were in the past may not be true anymore. So I like to look up to a year. And then also what I don't really kind of dwell on is something personal. So like, if you see one random comment about like, oh, I spoke with such and such and she gave me an attitude and this, that, and the third. Now if you see one, you know, okay, you look at it like, okay. But if you don't really see anything else like that, you kind of know like, okay, that was just like a one-off. Or like this, I seen a comment where it was like, this girl such and such, she slept with my man and came into my apartment and this, that, and the third. And I was like, you put that on Google? Like, you could have, why would you even put that on there? Like, I was just like, okay. So yeah, just kind of weed out those crazy reviews. Also, when looking at reviews, think about the rating that you would like. Me personally, I really prefer 4.0 and above, because it's out of 5. If you have 4 or more, you've been really helpful to the people in your community and people love it, and so I want to love it too. But then also, I have recently started to look at those that were in the 3s, because some places don't have a lot of reviews. And then also, I've seen where somebody was just like, oh, this was the best place I ever lived. The only reason I'm leaving is because I bought a house and this, that, and the third. But they gave them a 1 star. And I know that was on accident. Their entire review was amazing. So I'm just like, oh my God. But I don't look at like the super low 3s, like 3.5 and above. I'll look at those because it may be an accident. I've seen plenty of times where the person's like, I loved it here and this, that, and the third. And they have like a 3 star or 1 star. And I'm like, you could have gave him a 5 so you could help me out, you know, but you know, so that's what I do. There's even a time where I saw someone reviewed the apartment with a 1 star and it wasn't even the right apartment. They said, I've been living at such and such, and I was like, that's not even the name of the apartment. So, you know, stuff like that, you gotta kind of really look at and just weed those out as well. So then after you've reviewed all of the apartments that you had on your list, by then you should have been able to narrow it down. For some people, they are looking at like 15 apartments. You should not have to do that if you've like taken the proper steps. It could have saved you some time. You know, if you looked at the location, and then also like when you're looking at locations as far as like city and or town, think about the actual neighborhood. Like, is it in an area that you can see yourself living? So when you're touring the apartment, now make sure you have a list of questions. So make sure you get the pricing, you know, what kind of utilities they have, see the amenities that they have. Don't ask them a question about the crime in the area. They're not going to be able to answer that for you, okay? What I used to do is say, I'm not exactly sure what the crime rate is in this area. However, you can be directed to your local police department because they'll have the most accurate answers. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, there's been 5 robberies in the past month, and then you're scared to move in here. Or I say, there hasn't been anything in the past 5 months, and then as soon as you move in, there's a robbery. It's just kind of like, because not everyone has those issues. You know, some things are personal and it has nothing to do with the apartment community. However, if you see a pattern in these reviews, don't do it. You just kind of gotta be smart about it. Use your common sense when it comes to that kind of thing, okay? But don't ask the person on the tour about, they're not going to answer that. What you also shouldn't ask is the type of people that live there. That is against fair housing law. And if they answer you, they're violating fair housing laws. They can't sit there and tell you like, oh yeah, it's a whole bunch of Hispanic people. It's a bunch of people with children. It's a bunch of military family. You can't do that. You can't answer it at all. And if you do, like I said, they are violating fair housing laws. Don't ask them that. And you really can't like trespass and like try to look yourself, but I mean, you know, do as you please. But that person should also not tell you to tour the apartment community, you know, without them being there, you know, just so you can see who else is living there. Don't do that. And while you're on this tour, so you're asking all these questions and stuff like that, kind of just take in the customer service that you're receiving. Is it really quality? Even when you called, maybe you called before and you got some customer service, I can be turned off by a phone call, okay? So if I talk to the people and I feel like they're just so not interested, I'm no longer interested, because you're not trying to get me into this community. And if I get to this community and you still have that terrible service and I can't get anything done that I need to be done, it's just gonna be hell living there. So we're not doing that. So just kind of, if the phone service was good, cool, go ahead and do the tour. Then you get there. If the service is good, you know, you can kind of hope that they keep that same energy. But we all know you get a different kind of service sometimes when you are inquiring about a service, and then once you now are receiving the service, all of a sudden they rude. So you kind of gotta, this is where the reviews come in, because if people are rude in the office, they will tell you in the reviews, okay? If you can't get help, you can't get maintenance, they will tell you in the reviews. Bugs, oh my God, there are a lot of apartment communities that got bug problems. I can't do that. If you know me, me and bugs, I can't do a bug. I can't do it. So if I see one comment about a bug, I'm like, okay. I see two, done. Because I'm looking like this is a pattern, okay? This is a pattern. This place has got bugs, okay? I think that's pretty much it. Overall, don't settle, okay? Don't settle because unless you absolutely have to. Like, if you just can't, you know, choose something, well, you're not gonna get anything perfect. But if for any reason, you know, the apartment that you're choosing, there are some sacrifices that you had to make, okay, that's cool. Like for me, I don't have a dining room. It's not really a sacrifice. I don't need it. I live alone. I just need this bar area that they gave me, and that's fine with me. But like, what are you sacrificing? I have a smaller living room, and that's fine. I don't really need it as long as it fit my couch, which it did, thank God. You know, just think about the sacrifices that you had to make, but don't make anything too drastic. Like, say you're looking for a 2-bedroom, and because you need office space, because you have a whole desk and all this good setup, you know, don't try to get a really small, you know, apartment. You know, I know the pricing thing is, you know, gonna change, like, you know, your wants and needs, but just kind of do what's best for you overall, and don't settle for an apartment that you are not going to be happy with. And you know, when you know, you know. So don't settle, okay? And then also another thing, I forgot this time around, but I like to ask about a 30-day or 14-day satisfaction. And basically what that is, well, if you do not like your apartment or you don't want to live there anymore within 14 days of signing your lease, or 30 days of signing your lease, it depends on the apartment, you can get out of that apartment without penalty. But that's if they have that. I haven't really seen that here in the Atlanta area, but when I was in Columbus, the apartment community I worked at, we had a 30-day satisfaction. If you were not satisfied with your apartment or the community and you wanted to leave within 30 days, you could do that. I don't know if that's really a thing out here in the Atlanta area, but it's definitely worth an ask, because once you start living somewhere, sometimes you see some things that you're just like, okay, this is not how it was, or this is not what I thought, and you can, you know, be able to get out of it. But again, it depends on the apartment community and probably the city or the state that you live in. So anyway, I really hope that you all enjoyed this video. Please like this video, comment down below, let me know if you have any other tips that you think that should have been included, or just help the people around you figure out how in the world they are going to move and where are they going to. And last but not least, if you are not already subscribed, go ahead and do so now, so you can be following my journey, this YouTube journey. It has been 6 months now since I started my YouTube channel, and we have over 50 subscribers, and for me that's a big deal, okay, because that means over 50 people are wanting to see my content, and I'm going to keep putting videos out. I have some others planned, so stay tuned for that. So again, subscribe, okay? Until next time.